Good morning. It is Wednesday, 11th November 29th. One more day until we move on to December. The Santa Rally is still on, um, even though it's struggling because we are really very, very high. And it's not easy to find incremental buyers to chase into the market. But there will be a final push between now and the end of the year. You know, keep in mind the center rally is not a straight line moving up. A lot of people just think that center rally is everything is all green every day for November and December. That's not the case. There's up and down. First up, TLT. The economic data continue to be favorable for TLT for bond rates to move lower. I have a few cover calls expiring this week, 93 and 94, which is fine. Um, I mentioned last week that if they get called away, I would not complain since, of course, I bought quite a few TLT below 90. Um, but going forward, I did sell a few cover calls yesterday for next week where 95. Okay, so I'm moving up the um, the strike price, and depending on where TOT is, it's gonna be 95 or 96. But the next big move, of course, is to close that gap at 96.41. There's a lot of resistance, okay, on the way up. Okay, for now, we are stalling out at this area, and of course, I think the next area that I think will require a lot of digestion, unless we have some very favorable economic data. Because look at this gap fill right here, okay, at 93. This is the reason why um, I sold 93 cover calls for the past 2 or 3 weeks. As always, whenever you have a gap down, you're gonna have a lot of people that did not get a chance to get out at that point. Because let's say you hold TLT and it gap down, and you suffer through this 10 weeks of pain. When they get back to that 93 level, you breathe a sign of relief, say to yourself, my God, I saved myself 13-14% of pain by not panicking at the bottom. But now I can get out. Okay, get me out. There are going to be those kind of sellers, and once they are absorbed, then we can go higher. So it's all depend on how strong the economic data is. By strong, I mean how favorable the economic data is, so that more buyer will come in to absorb those sellers. It's always okay. The market dynamic is very simple, and a lot of people usually have a hard time understanding when it comes down to whether a stock can go higher or lower. It's all about who has more. If there's more buyer than sellers, then you're gonna get a move up. It is that simple. Okay, so depending on how favorable the economic data is, if buyer can absorb the gap sellers, then up we go, and then we have another gap up there. So there's a lot of resistance. Plus, you get this downtrend, right? A very clearly defined downtrend. So that's why 95 is a good area to sell cover calls. It will break it eventually. It will. Okay, it will. All right. Let's go through. Not much has changed since last Wednesday, to be honest. So it's not like I'm gonna shed anything new. Um, Same thing here. I just talked about the gap down. Tesla, right? Same thing. You get this gap down, and now you have this indigestion here because it's absorbing the sellers. We'll find out, I think, fairly soon whether all the sellers at the gap down are absorbed, and then you can move higher. And then if you have 263, 264 is the area that you should get off the train, right? And then of course, after that, it's going to be the next gap fill. You have a couple level, okay? You have the 264-ish, and then you have, of course, the 279, and then the gap fill. So the couple level up there. So for those that follow my charting the last 2 years, you know how to play the game, one level at a time, right? Meta, struggling here, not much to do, okay? I trim a little bit last week, but that's it. Google, I would like to buy. I would sell put spread where? 132, 130, 130, 129 kind of thing. So down here, okay? So I would sell put spread down here. Would I buy, outright buy a few share at the gap fill? Yeah, I have an order right there. I have an order in at 132. So if it overshoot, that order will trigger, and then I have order at 132, 131, 30, all the way down to 125, $1 apart. Okay, so yeah, that's the way to play. Of course, Amazon, same thing. There will be a rug pull. Okay, all I gotta say is trim and keep trimming, because the path of least resistance for now is, of course, drifting higher, but eventually it's gonna be the rug pull. You don't know when that is. It could happen anytime, right? Just because it's the center rug. We have had a massive move since October already, the end of the year. So just be careful, be mindful, trim. Nvidia, I did add yesterday. I have an order in at 475 yesterday, and it triggered. Now why? I bought at 475. Last week I bought at 476, 477. So there was 3 occasions that I bought the last few days going into last week, because it is the shoulder. Okay, what was resistant? The shoulder and neckline are the 2 key support. Okay, so now it is strong support here. So it's a zone. I talk about the zone. Let's zoom in real quick so you can see. Okay, it's a zone, and that's fine. If it violates the zone, that's a different story. If it violates the zone, then can we go down to the gap fill below? Yes. Can we go down to the neckline again? Yes, right? But for now, I like it. Okay, so far pre-market 482. Now where is my sell order? My sell order is 490 up to 510. Okay, that's my sell order, all the way up. All right, let's go to a different sector. Enough of the FANG, right? BGX, I trim. Okay, I have an order in and it trigger. I have more order in at 137 to 140. The last order to sell is right there at the gap fill, 142.3. Okay, but yeah, it's trim time. Okay, sure. Would I wish to add more down here? Yeah, but I'm pretty happy to accumulate the share that I did for this move up, and now it's time to go. LH, same thing. I've been trimming. Last order to sell is up here. Okay, at 222. That's the last order, but for now I have sell order in at 216, 218, 220, and then of course 222. I don't expect more out of that. Okay. Eli Lilly. Okay, for those that follow chart, I'm sure you. Let's see if we can make this chart even messier. Okay, so you have this condensed move, okay, sideways. So it can go sideways for a while, but I think eventually there's gonna be a breakout or breakdown. Okay, so for me, um, would I trim? Yes. Where? I have a let's put a trigger in. Let's put an alert in. Okay. Create an alert. I have a trim order at 6:05, but trim time. Okay, so that I know that it's could be breaking up again. But my sell order is 6:05 all the way to 6:30, right? So trim time. AppV, I keep on adding. Okay, I keep on adding, and I believe, I think the last time I spoke, I was like 95 shares, something like that. But I'm up to 100. I round up to 100. Okay, so yeah, I had ordered in at 138 since last week, and it triggered yesterday, and I believe my 137.88 also triggered. I think. No, it did not, because the low yesterday was 137.92. But I do have an order at 137.88 and then 137.75, and then more all the way down to 136. Okay, so yeah, I don't mind accumulating here. JSK, I did not add. I did trim last week, but I think up here last Thursday, I believe I trimmed on the big move. Either last Thursday or Friday, I trimmed. Okay, it was a must. A must. I have. Would I trim again? No, I'm okay. Would I? I think the smart thing to do for those that have it is to set a stop. Okay, if you want to set a stop somewhere like 35-ish, you might want to do that, because then you can always buy it back $1 cheaper and lower. Okay, so there's a lot of profit here. Okay, there's a lot of profit. My average cost was 34.14 or something like that. So there's more than $1 of profit in a share. So yeah, I'm not gonna give up. So put a stop in there. Okay. Yesterday I make a bet on ARGX. That could turn out to be a bad bet for now. Okay, but like I said, it's a 420. It's a 420. I'm using this up here as my protection. Okay, the gap fill below is way too far below. There's no put down there to sell. Yeah. Well, I did not add. I was thinking about adding to ALNY, but for now, hey, it's fine. I'm fine with the share I have. It's volatile, but I think there's a chance in the next 30 days to make this that is underperforming compared to chasing the big Max 7, right? Magnificent 7. I also sold a few more put spread way below on VRTX, Vertex, okay? So yeah, I think that's round up all my trade yesterday on biotech. Oh, of course, XBI. I did not do anything in XBI. As far as trimming yesterday, I did trim more Lockheed Martin. This downtrend, okay. I trim at 450. I'm getting down to past half point on my position on Lockheed Martin. So yeah, it's not a big deal to say bye-bye there for now. Okay, for now. As far as RTX, nothing to do there. I'm out. I'm completely out with a profit. So yeah, I'm not touching that. Let's go real quick over to the banks. Time to go. Yeah, Goldman Sachs, if you have it, yeah, it's time to go. Okay, it's at the resistance. Can it shoot? I think the ultimate spot, of course, is up here, 344 to 347. Yeah, up there. You can push because, like I said, it's been there many times. It even formed a shoulder, head, shoulder. Okay, so yeah, it's rough. It's not much room left on the upside. Bank of America, it's kind of meh, right? But nice move off the zone. But yeah, it's I have not done much of anything with Bank of America. I got stopped out on partial position at 30, and I'm not buying back in. It's a better place to put my money. KRE, yeah, it's like I said, I'm not adding to it. Would I sell put spread 41 and below? Yeah, but otherwise, there's no need to do anything. I still have some share there. I think the bigger bang for the buck, if you want to play in that space, is Schwab. I think I'm more inclined to sell put spread uh, for Schwab at 50, or even outright naked put at 50 on Charles Schwab. Okay, to me that's the better play is to be exposed to Charles Schwab than to KRE. If you rather do that, I rather do that. Okay, we're staying with financial. I did trim AXP, no brainer, right? And I would trim more, but this is the spot here. Okay, this spot is trim. I have ordered in at 160, 168, and then 170. I'll be all out at 170. Okay, I don't. Can it shoot to 175, 174? The gap fill, yeah. But for now, my two sell order is up here. Well, 170. I don't. I might change it. I might, if I see something that's worth being greedier, then I move it up to the gap fill. But yeah, V, I was trimming. I did not trim yesterday, but I did trim on Monday, and pretty happy with that trim. Once again, what this is, yeah. If you're not trimming, I'm not sure what else you're doing. Okay, you gotta do it. I did trim Honeywell as well. I am halfway out of my position there. Well, I had as many as 300 shares, and then at one point I sold 200, and then I'm down to the original 100 shares, and now I'm down to 50. So yeah, the last trim order is 200. Okay, I have between 195 and 200 is the remaining sell order to completely exit the position. I did trim. I have a very little position in Boeing, but I did trim up there, and I have a little bit left, and I think the next sell order is 225. Okay, so if I get back to 225, I'll be completely out. I sold a little bit at 225, and I have another order slightly above. I think it's like 225.5. I think so. Yeah, I leave it there. I'm just gonna leave it there. If I get there, I'd be out completely. That was crazy. Okay, I bought the initial share that I bought was right here, and then I of course bought more, add more, and poof, it was ugly. It was an ugly ride, but it turned into a profit eventually. Um, let's touch on energy. USO. If you want to sell put spread, 68 and below, I would say even below it. I sold some put spread below, but mine was like 66, 64, way below. Okay, yeah. If economy get weaker and weaker, then it's like a broken record with me, right? I said that you're gonna see 52-week low. Okay, below 60 is pretty much a very highly likable destination for USO should the economy continue to get weaker and weaker. Yeah, even with the Saudi cutting back production, guess what? Once again, be careful. Be careful. Surely they're doing fine. Lower oil, gas is over $3. They're making money. They're printing money. But like I say, it's foreign demand. Be careful. You know, I have a put spread, but that would likely, well, it would, if I was to write more put spread in December and January, it's gonna have to be something like 114, 112, way down here. Okay, yeah, it's you just can't be bullish on energy in a weaker economy. Uh, let's see what else. Oh, I did trim Coke, but let's talk about Pepsi. Yeah, to me, getting close. Okay, getting close. Just hang in there, and it triggered. I believe it was 58 point something. It was either 58.7 to trim is all the way up to 60. Okay, so now one of the strongest one that surprised me. Look at Mondelez. Mondelez bounced back stronger than Coke and Pepsi. Wow. Okay, but yeah, if you have it, trim. You're the hammer on it. Okay, so if you have it, congratulations. If you bought it on the dip, I talked about it, right? But yeah, it bounced better than Coke and Pepsi. McDonald's is at a resistance. I did start trimming there too. Yes, I did. There might be some indigestion here because, like I said, if for those that held through this ugly downtrend and see this move, this big V up, they might be saying, "Get me out." Okay, imagine if you bought McDonald's any other time before this big downturn and you didn't sell, right? Surely you kick yourself for this ugly move down. But then now they get back to this, you might say, "Get me out." So if it can absorb, then back to the all-time high it go. Okay, but for me, 290 is my next trim spot. Okay, I like McDonald's going into a recession, a weaker economy, so I don't need. I'm gonna be greedy here and not like trim. I trim a little bit to be disciplined, but the next trim spot is way up here at 290, and then 300, right? So yeah. I might sell some between 290 and 300, okay, as well, but the ultimate target is 300. The near-term target is 290. Can I change my mind and trim some more between now and 290? It's possible. I need to see. Okay? It's all about how the stock behave on a daily basis that I can change my mind. What else can I talk about? Okay, I did trim CLX as well. It's, as you can see, it's a common thing. Doesn't matter. Okay, outside of the health, pharma, biotech sector, healthcare, a lot of sectors are bouncing off the October low, right? So if you bought the dump, congratulations. If you held your nose and bought the Clorox in October, yeah, it's time. I did. Okay, I will trim more. I will keep trimming. The one that did not do so well, which I'm thinking about buying, is Hershey. Hershey had a decent earning. What hurt Hershey on good earning day was they slipped in a comment at the end about losing shelf space on one client. Like there was a major client that reduce shelf space. And if you are in the business of retail, whether it's Target or any retail, doesn't matter. It could be candy, it could be whatever, even a pharmaceutical. Shelf space is everything. Okay, it's able to display and take up a lot of room on the shelf. For sure, help your sales compared to less shelf space. So that's what hurt Hershey was one of their big client. Reduce shelf space for a competing product, and that has been what hurt them. Even though they had a good earning, but boom, when that news come out, you got this ugly move, and of course a bunch of downgrades. So we'll see how it play out, but it's cheap, but it could be a value trap. So I'm not in a hurry to buy Hershey. Before I go, let's talk about a sector that got beat up pretty badly for a while. Of course, you get the ugly October. Abbott is at resistance. It's absorbing. Okay, it's absorbing, and hopefully it can keep absorbing, and then move higher. But for now, it needs to absorb. Okay, because like I said, you have this channel low, break the channel low, so now it's trying to get back into the channel again. Okay, so it's trying. Same thing with Medtronic. Medtronic get the ugly October and decent number, and now it's absorbing. Okay, a lot of sellers that just, but volume is not been strong. There will be a rotation. We just have to be patient. Okay, just have to be patient. It's just it's hard to fight the FOMO in big money. If big money determined that the place to be is in the Microsoft of the world, which I did not talk about. Microsoft, same thing here. Okay, it's trim time. Look at that crazy chart. Okay, yeah, it's trim. I have ordered in at 384, 385. Yeah, it's a no-brainer. Okay, if you don't want to trim, raise your stop. Where? At the minimum, your stop should be somewhere like in the high 360s. Okay, I prefer to be even a 375 range. It's too much gain to give. Okay, too much gain. The gain in my share is at least 10%, if not more. So yeah, I raised my stop. For now, as of right now, it is 367. But I will take my own advice and move it up to perhaps 373 or something like that. Okay, it's just too much gain, more than 10%. Gotta protect it. Okay, and that's it. Not much to say. We just gotta keep watching. So seasonally, it is a tough time to get a favorable data because, of course, seasonal. A lot of retailer, high temporary people, right? High temps, whether it's Amazon to the Target of the world, they beefing up the temp. So the jobless claim number might not be as weak as we want, but if it is weak, then it signals that the economy is worse than people expected. Because even with seasonal, I can't even say that word. Even with season hiring, and the number is still weak, that means that it's a very weak economy. Because you should have we're not gonna bother. We're not gonna bother hiring temp to help out because business is not good. And that's it for this week. Thank you for watching. We'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow is a big day. Okay. Bye bye.